Hello everyone, welcome to our today's Tech Talk, Appi testing from choosing a tool to make tricks in work. Let me introduce you myself. My name is Gauhar Ahmetova and I'm today moderator of this Tech Talk. And let me introduce you our speaker, Yuliya. Hi.
Hi guys.
Hi. Yes, and I'm going to say that please, if you have any questions about API or testing, functional testing, please write in the chat and we will try to answer for all of them. Please write in English because you have to understand and each other. So thank you in advance and yes, you can start.
Okay, that's all cool. Hello guys, happy to be here again with presenting this tech talk about Appi testing. Let me introduce myself. So just a moment. Okay. So my name is Yuliya and I'm middle software testing engineer in EPAM. I have almost 2 years in software testing. I have an experience in manual testing as well as in automated one. I have great experience in Appi testing and also I'm a TechTalk speaker. So let's see our agenda for today. First of all, we'll discuss what is Appi. We'll discuss what is Appi testing and why it should be tested. We will discuss main tools for Appi testing, how to create a first request, and then we'll, in the almost in the end, we'll discuss main life hacks in Appi testing, and then you'll have a chance to ask any question about functional Appi testing. So should we start? And so first of all, let's discuss what is Appi. So first of all, Appi is a mechanism that enables two software components to communicate with each other using a set of definitions and protocols. For example, the weather bureau software system contains daily weather data, right? And the weather app on your phone, like, kind of talks to the system via Appis and shows you like daily weather updates on your phone. What does Appi stand for? So Appi stands for Application Programming Interface. In the context of Appis, the word application refers to any software with a distinct function. That interface can be thought of as a contract of service between two applications. This contract defines how the two communicate with each other using requests and responses. Let's discuss how do APIs work. So API architecture is usually explained in terms of client and server, right? So the application sending the request is called like the client, and the application sending the response is called this the server. So in the weather example, the bureau's weather database is a server and the mobile app is a client, and they communicate with each other, sending requests and response. So we have several different ways that APIs can work depending on when and why they were created, and we will discuss this a bit later. So here I have a scheme for you how API works. So you can see here that we have a web app in browser. We send a request to the internet, then it goes exchange here. Like API is enabled to explain how web applications communicate with each other. They process data, transfer between systems, and allocate between the application and the web server. APIs enable access to software or web data, right, in a controlled and secure way for the program. Then the code sends request to the receiving software and returns the data back. Okay. If we go for the next one, so here we have these waves, like these APIs, right, ways. So first of all is SOAP APIs. So such APIs use simple object protocol, access protocol, sorry. Client and server exchange messages using XML. This is a less flexible API that was more popular in the past, but still used, right? Still, we can find such APIs in software. Websocket Apis is another modern way web API development that uses JSON objects to pass data. WebSocket API supports two-way communication between client app and the server. So the server can send callback messages to connected clients, making it more efficient even than REST API. And last, the most popular and the most flexible API, this is REST, found like on the web today, yeah. So the client sends requests to the server as data. The server uses this client input to start like internal functions and returns output data back to the client. For example, for our project, like for my project in detail, we use REST API. Okay, so here, what is API testing and why it should be tested, right? So API testing is a type of software testing that involves testing API directly and as a part of integration testing to check whether the API meets expectations in terms of functionality, reliability, performance, and security. And here are some API testing types. But before we start this, let's see what is the main focus, right? What is the main focus in API testing, right? Like making multiply requests to API endpoints for performance testing. What else we can check? Like we can write unit tests for checking business logic and functional correctnesses. Security testing is also highly important here. By like, how can we do it? By simulating system attacks, right? And here I posted some important like testing types in API, right? So first of all, definitely functional testing, right? It evaluates the responses in terms of accuracy of output, whether it lies within expected parameters, and how errors are handled. Unit testing more for like developers, right? Like tests that are written to like automatically run with every build of the application, and it's highly recommended to write like to test API while you're writing unit tests. Yeah, load and performance testing is like one of the non-functional type of testing that is most often overlooked and will most often cause trouble. Like load testing is very similar to performance, but instead of creating like spikes in traffic, we want to emulate a constant steady stream of traffic at a normally expected rate. And this is to ensure that the APIs do not contain memory leaks or other similar defects that might cause issues after kind of running for a prolonged period of time. Security testing, this practice ensures the API implementations is secure from external threats, right? Security testing also includes additional steps such as like validation of encryption methodologies and of the design of the API access control. It also includes user rights management and authorization validation. Integration testing, it focuses on exposing faults in the interactions between APIs. So this test ensures the APIs are well connected and can communicate with each other flawlessly. For example, if to talk about my project, we have tons of different integrations. For example, docs and between Learn, and people from Learn, they go to docs and back. So it's highly important here to check integration, that everything works as supposed to. And let's discuss API testing benefits. So API testing is time effective when compared to UI testing. So API tests, it's like if we talk about automation, it requires less code, so it can provide faster, better test coverage. API testing can help us to reduce the testing cost. With API testing, we can find minor bugs before the UI testing. So these minor bugs will become bigger during UI testing. So finding those bugs in the API testing will be cost effective, like to the company, right? API testing is quite helpful in testing core functionality. So we can test the APIs without a user interface. In UI testing, we need to wait until the application is available to test the core functionalities, waste of time. Why do we need it? We don't need it, right? So we check everything earlier, and due to the fact that API testing can be performed once the logic layer is ready and before the final stage of work. What else? Easier test maintenance, right? It's much more stable than UI tests, which change every day. It can also be implemented quickly. So faster time for fixing bugs, I think. If the API test result is bad, it helps to diagnose where the problem is in the system, leading to faster bug detection and fixing, and final user is happy, we fixed. Okay. Also, if we talk about scaling rate of API testing, I did by myself. So API testing is 25-30 times faster than the corresponding UI testing for the same application, and I just checked it by myself and said to myself wow. Yeah, lots of benefits. What else? API testing is language independent and extends data using XML or JSON, which enables you to use any programming language for conduction of the API test. And what else? I think that API testing can be speeded up considerably, leading to significant cost saving as well. Whew, yeah, so as you can see, tons of benefits, and I predict that everybody will run to the project and say let's do API testing. So, but before you do this, let's see on what layer we need to complete it. So when API should be tested, as you can see here, we have 3 layers. Yeah. So if we start from the low part, this is data, database layer, where schema tables triggers are tested. Then we have our logic, business or application logic layer, how we call it, where API testing is performed. And only then we have UI, presentation layer or front end, we call it, where functional testing is generally conducted. As you can see, already on this step on the second layer, we can find lots of different bugs, interesting bugs, and fix it quickly in order to not to wait until content is ready. So again, save money, save time, everybody is happy. Okay. Let's go next. API testing tools. So two tools are really popular here. So the first one is Postman. I think everybody knows it. Postman is used in API testing, and it's used. The only thing that it's used only for RESTful API, so we cannot check SOAP API here, unfortunately. So the Postman tool allows to organize API requests into collections and folders that share common like values across requests with environmental variables. We can write script tests with built-in Node.js-based runtime. So pretty useful application. If to talk about SOAP UI, it's also a great tool. It's like leading open source across platform API testing tool. What is good about that one? That you can test a RESTful API, you can test SOAP API, so a great benefit here. So SOAP UI allows users to execute like automated functional regression and load tests on different web APIs, right? But the naming, right, SOAP UI, and it's kind of tricky, right? You start to think that it only works for SOAP API, but then it's like a surprise, I can do RESTful too. And you think that it's great too, so it's cross-platform. I have made an interesting comparison table here for you. So if you look here, what is different, as I said, like SOAP API testing, SOAP UI can do this, Postman no. Both of them, they can complete automated assertion generation. Both of them can handle with environments. The scripting languages are different. For SOAP UI, it's Groovy, and for Postman, it's JavaScript. And test reports, Postman supports only JSON and HTML formats, whereas SOAP UI supports the customization of reports in various formats, but it's only for paid version, as I remember. Okay. Then you have a question like, what other API testing tools can be? And I have a table for you. So here you can see other API testing tools. Most of them are for automation, which we are not going to talk about today. Maybe for the next TechTalk. Okay, so here we have like Apigee, Assertable, Catalan Studio, Character DCL, Ready API, TestCreate, Trucentis, and I have some like points, not about each one, but about those I tried by myself. For example, Assertable, developers and testers widely like choose Assertable as one of the top API testing tool with a high focus of reliability, considering it supports API tests at every step that goes from continuous integration to the delivery pipeline. What else good about Assertable? It provides users with very useful features. It supports integration with GitHub, Zapier, and Slack, but it's pricey, yeah. Catalan Studio is a popular test automation tool for APIs, as well as application, desktop, and mobile apps, pretty universal. It supports SOAP and REST requests and provides multiple parameterization features and commands. What else? Catalan Studio follows a data-driven approach like DD. Supports CI/CD integration and allows testers to execute automated and exploratory testing. It's a great tool. I tried one myself, by the way. Carrot DCL, it's an open source framework for API testing. Carrot framework is based on the Cucumber library. With this tool, a tester can test web services by writing tests in a domain-specific language, like then, when, and. This tool is specially designed for automated API testing, and to use this tool, there is no need to have like a programming language, but basic understanding of HTTP, JSON, XML, XPath, and JSON path will be an added advantage. I tried it once and I liked it. Let me tell about Trucentis is one of the top choices for those who wish to integrate it into the Agile and DevOps cycle. Like it follows model-based test automation, which facilitates script maintenance and provides a fast time for regression testing. Well, one of the primary pros is that it supports multiple protocols such as REST, SOAP, HTTPS, MQ, GMS, like IBM MQ, etc. Another great plus is that Trucentis allows end-to-end testing across like mobile, cross-browser, and package apps. So just try something by yourself and you see all benefits of using that. Okay. In this tech talk, I would like to show you how to create your first requests, like how to use Postman, how to use SOAP UI. And before we do this, we need to discuss like what HTTP request methods we know, or you don't know and you want to know about that one. So first of all, I've collected the most popular ones. So get. So if we use get, such requests I used to retrieve resource representation information only, and we do not modify in any way. As get requests do not change the resource state, they are said to be safe methods. The HTTP head methods request HTTP headers from the server, and they get and head are quite similar, but when we use HTTP head method, we get from the server. Remember, yeah, we have this client server system. So the server returns headers without body. The only difference here. Post, also a very popular one. We use Post API to create new resource, right? For example, we need to create a file. Is subordinate to directory containing it, or a row is subordinate to a database table, so to create some information. Put, we use put API primarily to update an existing resource. For example, we have a resource and we need to update information, so we use put method, right? And delete. This request method doesn't need body because we just delete the resource from the server. That's why no body here. Okay, so for example, we know that when we want to have like API testing to provide API testing, we need to send like a request. We need to use like some HTTP request method, right? If we talk about REST, right? Okay, we do it, but then we need to get a response. Remember, yeah, that it's communication between client and server. We send request, we get response. And we cannot get a response like, hi, I'm your response, how are you? No, we have special like status codes, right? HTTP status codes. And here you can see like a gradation, like from informational, success, redirection, client error, and server error. So you understand that from positive to negative ones. And I have collected some for you. Not all of them, because if I put all of them and describe all of them, this tech talk will be for, I don't know, for 3 hours, for sure. Okay, so let's discuss most common, right, HTTP response statuses. So if you look here, we start from status code 200. This is standard OK, like OK status code for successful HTTP request. The response that is returned is dependent on the request. For example, for GET request, the response will be included in like in message body. For put post request response, we'll include the resource that contains like as a result of the action. Status code 201. This is a status code that confirms that the request was successful, and as a result, a new resource was created. Typically, this is a status code that is sent after a post-put request. If we talk about status code 304, this is status code used for browser caching. So if the response has not been modified, the client can continue to use like the same response, like the same cached version. For example, a browser can request if a resource has been modified since a specific time. If it hasn't, the status code 304 is sent. If it has been modified, a status code 200 is sent along with the resource. Status code 400, the server cannot understand and process the request due to a client error. Missed data, like domain validation, like and valid formatting are some examples that cause like the status code 400%. Status code 401, you also might see this pretty often. This status code request occurs when authentication is required but has failed or not been provided. Status code like 404, the most common status, right? I even have like a t-shirt with this like 404. This occurs when the request is valid but resource cannot be found on the server. It was deleted or something like that. Status code 500, also very pretty common, commonly seen status codes by users. Like the 500 series codes are like the 400 series codes. In that they are true error codes, right? The status code 500 happens when the server cannot fulfill a request due to unexpected issue. Yeah, unexpected issue on the server. Okay, maybe server died. Yeah. Okay. So we know now like that if we want to send a request, we need to choose HTTP request method. And when we send it, like we get a response, and not just response, but with some HTTP response status. Okay. If we go to the next slide, let's see this one, like Postman description, right? So this is our tool. I will quickly describe you what we have here. So Postman, remember, only for RESTful APIs, to test RESTful APIs. Okay, so as you can see here, we have different buttons and how to understand it. Don't worry, I will do this for you. Just one moment. Okay, I hope you see this laser. So what we have here, we have some buttons like home workspaces, report, explore, some functional buttons. We have collections, APIs, environments, mock servers, monitors, history, what we need. Collections, right? So as you remember, what is good about Postman, you can collect your tests in one and collect and keep your tests in your requests in collections. And why it's good, it's better for for keeping everything together, for updating it from time to time, and it's just convenient, Okay, so then you have here new, where you can click on it and create new request. Then you have import, where you can import your collections, right? For example, your developer has a collection and he send it to you, and you can just import it and not just type in requests by yourself. Pretty convenient. Then you have your main window here. Post, it's where you can choose your HTTP request methods. Remember, we discussed most common of them: get, post, put, delete, and head. Also here you can see your endpoint. Then you have like here parameters, authorization, headers, body, pre-request scripts, tests, and settings. What we need here is our request body. Then you have like your button send, where you click and send the request. Then here you can see another window where request response body come. So you have like your body, cookies, headers, test results, if you wrote any tests, but we'll discuss it a bit later. And what I like about this feature, like you have different, you can see your response in different formats. Like first of all, you can choose JSON or text, HTML. And you can see it like in a pretty way, like just draw away, preview, like visualize, so on and so forth. And here you have like a special panel where you can see like status of your answer. Remember HTTP like response like code, like 200, 201, 500, whatever. Then you have like time, how long was it the request, and you can see like a size, and you can save response. Also, you can save the request. And let me turn off this great laser, and let me show you the exact demo. Okay, so here we are. I have a second mentor, so I need to look here. So you can see here that I have some collections. So for example, I have a pet store, pet collection. For example, I have some requests like post, put, get, and delete. I have tried before to create like a post request. So it seems like I have already this data on server. So let's create get request. Remember, get request is the safest request, and we just get data. We do not modify it. We just get it to see. So I don't need to send anybody, right? I don't use it. I just have my method, request method, and then I have my endpoint. So I click send. Voila. I have something wrong, right? I have 404. What does it mean? Aha, not found. That means I don't have this data on the server. Okay, what should I do? I should put it, right? I should post it. So I need to create it. So I go to post request. I use the same endpoint. I have the same ID and I have a name here, some data, right? So here in this request, I need body, right? Because it's post request. I create new information. So I send a request. Okay, and we have a response here with our data. I can see here that it's okay, like data is created 200. I see the time and I can hover the pointer here, and I see details. Then I can see the size. Okay, great. Now I can try and get this information because we posted some data. Okay, let's try again. Yeah, you see, in get response, I just get information. I do not modify it, so I can see it in body. So what does it mean pretty? You can see this in pretty way, like in JSON format. I can choose raw, and it will be like this. I can use like preview, it will be like this, and visualize, we don't have this here. Okay. For example, I want it in HTML, so it will be like this, pretty raw preview. Nothing's changed, right? Okay. Great. What if I want to like delete a bit, right? I don't need it. Like I want to delete this. So we need a special HTTP method, delete, endpoint with our ID. Remember when we posted, we had ID 1010. But what if I want to try and see what happens if I put a wrong ID in endpoint? So we send it. And we don't have anything in response except 404 not found because we don't have such information. Okay, let's try with the correct one. Send. You see, 200, it's okay. We deleted some information. Let's try and check if it was deleted. Find the pets, the same ID, send. 404 not found because we deleted this information. We don't have it on the server, and it says this. Okay, so that was like a postman. Okay, you have a question, right, about SOAP UI, for example. But when before we start checking, like before I start demonstrating it, remember, let's discuss what is it, like how does it work, and what should we know about this one. So remember that SOAP Appi is a kind of old way of APIs. Yeah, kind of API. So here we need to use XML when we talk about SOAP API. So what is it, XML, right? It's extensible markup language. Like HTML, right? Like it has a structure, right? To storage, to store and transmit data. What is good about that one? Like it's widely used in web services. It's very easy to parse and generate. It provides like a strong support for Unicode characters. What else good? XML defines a set of rules for like encoding documents in a format which are human friendly. Almost all major programming languages, they support XML due to its like language independent data format. As you can see, XML document is formed as element tree. An XML tree starts at the root element and branches from like the root to child elements. You can see like it's a like structured tree of data. All elements can have like sub-elements, or how it's called, child like elements. The term parent, child, and sibling are used like to describe the relationships between elements. So parents have children, children have parents, like yeah. Siblings are children on the same level, like brothers, sisters, we can call it like that. All elements can have text content and attributes, like for example, what can be text content, like Harry Potter, right? Data. Attribute like category, like cookie, or category like like this. So what elements it contains? First of all, envelope. You can see here it's written on the slide. Like it's an obligatory root element that translates the XML document and defines the beginning and the end of the message. Then we have header. It's an optional item which contains information about the message being sent. Then we have body. It contains the XML data comprising the message being sent. Then fault. It provides information on errors that occurred during message processing. It can be or it cannot be. The exact endpoint we have as VSDL, like or Web Service Description Language. Yeah, it's an XML-based definition language. It's used for describing like the functionality of the SOAP-based web service. Also, VCDL files are central to test SOAP-based services. Like SOAP UI uses VSDL files to generate like test request assertions. Okay, let's see it on our slide. The exact like program 2 SOAP UI looks like this. So let's see what we have here. So first of all, functional buttons like files, project, suite, then case, step, tools, desktop, help. Then we have this panel with empty. We can create empty project. As for like Postman, we had collections. As for SOAP UI, we have some kind of collections, but it is called projects. Also, you can keep all your tests there. Then you can create a SOAP request, REST. We can import your project. We can save all. And we have like preferences and proxy. We don't need it right now. So here are your projects with your all available requests. Then you have here this window, your request in XML format. Then this window is a response, and you have two options to see it in as XML, like the same as here, the same structure, like tree kind. And then you can see it's raw. In raw format. Raw format I prefer more because you have extra information here about like response status code and also headers, so more detailed information. Okay, then you have this panel where you can see like buttons to send the request and a link to get methods. This is vSolve. So let's see it in real life. So here's your program. Here's your tool. And I have a demo here for you. So first of all, you have this start page, also useful like to start new SOAP project, new REST project, some supports, blah, blah. And let's start from swap. Remember, we have here project with our request. For example, we have request number 1, and it says here swap. And we have here our XML. And for example, we have envelope, right, which is most important element. Don't forget to like open tags. These are tags, these small feature, things here. You need, if you open the tag, you need to close it. What happens if I forget? For example, I forgot to close it. Let's try. I don't have a closing tag. I try to send it. Let's try. I click here. Some magic. And when we have a response, 400 bad request, something went wrong, right? Okay, when I put it back, I close my tag and I send it again. 200 success. So don't forget to close all tags. When you have open it, don't forget to close it. So for example, here we have like a calculator and methods called add, and we need to put and add some data. For example, I have 5 here, 5 here. And when I send the request, it calculates and sends me their response. In raw format, it looks like this. You need to scroll and see the result and find it. So add result 10, right? It's not very convenient, right? So when I click XML, it's easier. We have a structure and we see exact result here, 10. Okay, for example, I want to check it if it accepts any letters. What happens if I put any letters? For example, 5 plus blah, blah, blah. So I send a request. Oopsie, we have something wrong here. So it says 500. Remember, it's something very bad. So internal server error. Something went wrong. So if we will see it in XML format, it says the answer, like read parameters. This answer says, and we see here fault. So with this tag, remember, it shows the error. Something went wrong. Okay. We understand that it doesn't understand letters, so we need to use only numbers. Okay, let's try with number again. It's 200, it's okay, because we used correct parameters. So 5 plus 7, 12. It was an example with swap. Okay. But remember that swap can do the same with, like we can use swap UI to test RESTful APIs. So here's example. We just need to change the project. Okay, so we're done with swap. And we have here REST project number 1. And I have here the same like pet store. And we have a request. So we can close our swap project and open our RESTful. You can see here that we have like a method where we can choose our HTTP request methods. We have endpoint, we have like our resource, and remember, just get information. So we don't need to use any we don't need to use body. We just send a request. So let's try. Remember, we deleted, right? What will it show us? Okay, we have an error because pet was not found. Okay. Okay, so here we can see, yeah. So we need to create the pet, right? We need to post data. You use it like it was in Postman, like you need to use body. Application JSON, you put it. Let's try. Yeah, we created some new data, we posted, and now we can check it. Remember, nobody. We put our ID, get, send, get the request. Sorry, get the response. We cannot use it, we cannot see it as XML, obviously, because this response is in JSON format. We can see it in JSON format. In HTML, actually no. And here we have the raw format with detailed information, like 200, it's okay. And just some headers. Okay. So you see that both tools are really helpful for API testing. They both can do great things, and I will just show you more further. And I prefer both of them. For example, for some like projects, I prefer Postman. For some software UI, you see, it depends on it depends on your project and what do you need to achieve in your like API testing and what API do you use actually, RESTful or SOAP. Remember that Postman cannot do SOAP API testing. Okay. And I have some life hacks for you. I have collected them among my colleagues, and they were so kind to share this experience, like their experience with me. And that's why I decided to share it with you also, so you can use it. For example, my colleague, like Dmitry Voronov, if you are here, hi. Thank you for the great tip. He uses variables during API testing to generate random values and handle any scenario in API testing. It's a great tip actually, and I have like a chance to show you. It is here. What does it mean variables? We use it for creating dynamic like data to like improve API testing, to make it easier, faster, and you can see it here. For example, you have a body, you have a post method, you have your endpoint, and what does mean variables? So they look like this. Where to create them? You open your collection. And for example, you need to use random email and you create it here using Postman tool. You just use these snippets, and they can help you creating. So if you want to create a random example email, you just write this script, request script, and you create like a dynamic data. And how does it work? So for example, you use this method, like replacing it's already in Postman, and you don't need to think a lot about that and how to create. You have already it in Postman. I think it's a wow feature. It's a great one. So let's see how does it work. For example, we have a post, methods request endpoint, and in our body, when we send the request, I want to use like a random example email. So it was generated by by Postman. I don't want to create by myself, right? I want to make it faster. And I just put this here and I send. Let's see what will come. So in the response, we see email. I didn't put this email, right? I did not create it. Postman did it for myself. Okay, let's see if it is random. Remember this email? Let's send again. You see, email is changed. So it's randomly created email. It's a great feature. Thank you, Dima. Okay, let's see next one. Vera Lebedeva, also my colleague, was so kind to share her tip. She uses test section during API testing to check that API works as supposed to. So let's see it with Postman. We have the same like request, post request, and we have tests. So we put test here. What does it mean test? Like here, also you can create a test using snippets. If you see, if you open Postman and see what snippets are here, and you can see status code is 200. We need to check that status code in the response, which comes, is 200, for example. Okay, I just click it and voila, I have a test. So let's try that again. So I send the request. Okay, and see here in response like window, I have like a point like test results. I click it and I see that it fails. Why? Let's discuss, like let's analyze. So response time is less than 200 seconds, right? So see, time here says 621, but in our tests we wrote that it should be 200, right? Even less than 200. You see that it failed because the time was more for like response time was bigger than we wanted. So what can you do with this result? You can go to your developers and please do something with it. Change API, make it better so the response time was so the response times would be better. Okay, for example, if I put for example, I put response time is less than, okay, like this. Pass, yeah, because it's obviously is less than 1,000. Okay, so also thank you, Vera, for great tip. Sergey also is my colleague. He just stores all Appi requests in collections. for like easier updating from time to time. So these are main life hacks in API testing, and I used most of them, but for like the better tip, I think variables. Yeah. Okay. So I hope you like this short theoretical part with demo. And finally, finally, your favorite part, you have a chance to ask me questions, but I need help from my colleague Gohar. Gohar will help me. She will read the questions. So go ahead.
Yes, hello.
Hi
So,
again.
hi again, do you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Yulia, for a great presentation. It was wonderful. Please, if you enjoy, send to Yulia any pages. Do not hesitate. So let me start with the questions. So Sopan, he's asking, is it good to start API automation without API specifications?
Actually, for this tech talk, we don't discuss like API testing automation like in details, but I have some thoughts about that one. So actually, it's a kind of great question. You cannot start API testing automation without knowing basic automation like skills. But if to talk about automation API testing, you can read a lot, you can use YouTube and start with writing your first test. Yeah, but the main point here, to know how to automate testing, first of all, and then you can start API automation testing.
Okay, thank you. We have a lack of time, but we see that you have a lot of questions. Let me ask you the last question. Yulia, do you think that getting Postman Collection from developers is a good practice? The question was from anonymous person.
Oh, okay. Thank you for a great question, actually. Yeah, like I had a project where I needed to provide like API testing, but that time I was junior and I didn't have like a strong knowledge how to do this, how to keep collections. Even I just tried by myself to create like some get requests and something like that. And then I just needed help. And my one of developers, he helped me. He had his own like collection of API requests, and he just shared this knowledge with me. And it helped me a lot, and I could like handle a great API testing and found a lot of bugs. That's why it's a good practice. Why not? If they can help you, why not?
Okay, thank you. Thank you. As I mentioned, it was the last question, but we have a lot of questions from the chat, from the QA section in the platform. So for other questions, I will definitely reply you soon as possible in our social networks, in Instagram and in Telegram. Please follow us there. Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
Yulia.
Thank you, Gohar, for helping me, but it's not the end. Don't shut it down. I'm still here. I want you to invite you for the next tech talk, which will be provided by my great colleague Sofia Pustalat. She will tell us about what user stories are, structure, what to pay attention to, how to write test cases for user stories. and she will show you examples from real work experience. This Tech Talk will be on 27th July at 3 o'clock, like GMT +6, and here you can see the link for this Tech Talk, so do not hesitate, go and register. Okay, and here you might wonder how to find us, QA Hub, in social media. First of all, we have Instagram, we have Telegram, and we have email. So don't hesitate, go to our social media, follow us, and give us likes. Yeah, hopefully you will write these links.
Yes, we
And
already sent.
Thank you so much,
Follow
Gohar, for
us.
helping. Thank you guys for visiting my Tech Talk. I was so happy and still happy to share all knowledge with you. I am so happy to see all your interest and questions, and hopefully see you for next time. Bye.
Thank you. See you in next Tech Talk. Thank you, Yuliya, for great presentation.